Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Nigeria Now on Echo Television, where we keep you updated with some of the happenings in the country. Quite a number of events have happened. We are looking at the Senate confirming about 7 new ministers, and as well, we are seeing that finally, like the nation, where we're seeing that the northern part of the country, about 7 of them are actually rejoicing presently as power has been restored, and we're seeing that the TCN is saying hopefully by Sunday, which happens to be November 3rd, they will be able to restore power to the entire northern parts of the country. So we hope that will be done. I am Sarah Elisha Dashon. Please do well to join us. Drop your comment, your views, as they are always welcome. I'll be doing the show today together with Rachel Tansy. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, 7.
All right, without much waste of time, we're going to dive straight into the topics that we have today, and we'd love to start with the power restoration, and we will recall Rachel that I think for the northern part of the country, some part that depends solely on the NEPA light, which we popularly known as NEPA, even though they're no longer NEPA, but I think that's the main Nigerians know them to be the NERC, where we see that for about 10 days, some of them, others are saying 9 days, but particularly I think for about 10 days since the 19th of October, the northern part has been in total darkness, even though initially it wasn't just the northern part, but then it got to a point, they said there was a problem with the Shiroro Kaduna Dam. Presently, even the power right now is not even powered from there, because that plant is actually having a problem. So they are working towards that. But then we're seeing that about 7 states presently talking about Plateau, Lafia, Makurdi, Jos, Kaduna, and Gombe State as well. We're saying that power has been restored, and then you needed to see the jubilation yesterday, Rachel. It was more like people have not seen light for a decade, and then finally there's power. That is to tell you how important power is. I cannot just imagine the joy in the minds of small and medium enterprises, because we know what it means for them. And I remember you raising a concern, especially for those who run their businesses at night. How will they survive and all of this? But then we're seeing that they are promising that other parts, hopefully by Sunday, we will see power be restored. And I think the government needs to do something that we don't experience this again, because we're going to count the number of power grid collapse we've had just this year alone. You know that we've had a number, and I'm hoping that it doesn't repeat itself again.
In this kind of situation, Sarah, it's difficult to give thumbs up whatsoever, because first of all, we're not supposed to be having this kind of outages in the first place. It started first with the grid collapse, the light was restored, and then it turned out to be that it wasn't in the entire country, just as you stated, and then the north was still in darkness, and the other part of the country is having light. And you can't help but wonder what is wrong with generating power from the Shiro. It means that definitely there are things out there that needs proper attention, investment, and all of that. On the other hand, when you look at the problem we are facing in regards to power in the country, you have the right to be mad, because the proper investment and even sinking in of funds have been done. It's an issue of corruption. At the same time, it's an issue of no proper attention to a certain sector, because we have accepted the fact that we cannot have maximum power supply, and this should be the way of life. And if we want to move towards development, if we want to shift from being a developing country to a developed country, then we need to solve the issue of power in this country. We are nowhere close to getting that, and that is a heartbreaking part. But aside from that, we can give a thumbs up to Adilabu, because the minister came out and said, you know what, once we're able to have security in these places, because the reason is our electric engineers are finding concerns of going to the field, because these regions are not safe, and without the problem coming up, we wouldn't have to go there. But now that we have to go there, these regions are not safe, and as long as this safety is given to us within a particular period of time, 5 days was given, and within these 5 days we are seeing power restored. Now, even as much as it's not all the states, we are still having some states in darkness. We also have another assurance of at least now to Sunday, that is the 3rd of November. And since he was able to give his word concerning the restoration, and then we are able to see that. I think I can say, okay, now we had a minister that was faced with a challenge. We also had the presidency giving support of deploying security personnel because President Tinubu was like, that is not acceptable. And the moment all hands on deck was put, I mean, we are seeing power restored. I wish, Sele, that this is the kind of attitude we have in developing the country rather than fixing our problems. Imagine if we have this concerning power plants, concerning creating region power generation than just waiting for one place taking electricity to the entire country or few places compared to our population and compared to our size, our landmass and all of that. I wish this is the kind of enthusiasm we see in giving the solution of a problem that is yet to exist rather than solving a problem that already exists. It's like energy it's being channeled the wrong way because the work that is expected to be put down have not been in the first place. So I'm just hoping to see a revamp under this administration concerning electricity and power, in as much as certain policies are not favoring Nigerians now. But I'm looking forward to seeing an administration that will go through with this policy and making sure it's been achieved 100%. That's the only way we can see the result of certain things concerning every sector. It's not just the power sector. We can talk about oil, we can talk about our financial institutes and all of that, all of these policies. So I just hope that we do have an administration that is ready to work 100%. This is a result of one of it. So how about now they start canvassing ways to solve problems that are yet to exist so that they don't even exist in the first place.
That is where we need to see that we need them thinking outside of the box. Okay,
Yes.
right now the power is being restored, right? How about the next 2 years, 3 years? What
Yes.
are the measures being put in place that we don't experience it? Because I think one of the concerns for Nigerians is the fact that, okay, we power other countries, and how come we're unable to power the entire country and all of that? So I think it's really a point of concern because, just like I said, I just cannot imagine how many losses. I think we saw the billions of trillions of naira we
Sure.
have lost as a result of this blackout that we had for these past 9 to 10 days. And I'm hoping, just like you said, the minister has actually proven his words. I mean, during the ministerial nominee, people were afraid that maybe he might lose his job because it happened at a time where there was no that. But then we saw that he was on the job, trying to make sure he kept
Yes.
Nigerians updated with what is happening. This is what we're doing. And then I was really excited, in as much as we said it's not something for you to say kudos because it's their job. But then there was this always, giving feedback. This is what is happening. This is how
Yes.
far we have gone. This is why we were unable to see that. And then we saw even the northern governors coming out to say this is not acceptable. You need to do something. We saw about 17 of them meeting with the president during the weekend, and then I think this has actually brought out something positive for us. So we hope that we'll not experience another power
hope
outage in
not.
the next 2 or 3 days eventually.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the nomination, I mean, we saw where the president was outside the country for about 2 weeks, I think in UK precisely, and then we saw where people or speculation came in the fact that the reason why he was outside, one of the reasons was because he needed to sit down and brainstorm on his cabinet. There was a need for reshuffling. We saw where a number of people have to be sacked from their job, a number of people have to be changed to another position that was proper. And then we saw about 17 of those nominees. I think people were giving kudos that this is the first time we're having a nomination as well as we're having a portfolio being attached to it. And I would like to just go through those portfolios where we have Dr. Yilwada, I think that's Nantawe. He's now the new Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We will record that of Beth Edu. She's no longer there. And then we have Megadi, where he's the Minister of Labor and Employment. Then it was Lalong we had there, but then he's now in the Senate. And then we have Bianca Uchuku as the Minister of State Foreign Affairs. And then we have Jumoke as the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, which is very important to Nigeria. We have Mutari, Minister of Livestock Development. I think that's a new ministry that was created to stop according to the government, the headers and farmers clash. And then we have Yusuf, the Minister of State Housing and Urban Development. And then we have Saeed Hazen, the Minister of State Education. I think there is a need because talking about education, I think we started that conversation in the morning where we're having various unions going on strike as a result of their needs not being met. Now, looking at the portfolios of these 7, you would agree that actually it's, for a number of them, they're already receiving congratulations. The fact that it's a position that is well received for them to represent their state, for them to represent the country, and as well for them to know that this is not a time for you to sit back and then start putting aside money. I mean, especially for that Office of Humanitarian Affairs, which I've been a little bit, I'm hoping that he knows what the job is all about. I recall during the flood in Borno where he said this is where we needed the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs to come in and do something about it. But then this is it, and then the Senate have confirmed them, and then in as much as we're telling them congratulations, we hope that they know what the job really, really needs. You know, so we are hoping that they will give in all their best to make sure that they do the right thing in these places.
Of course, looking at these personalities and then their profile and then the portfolio, precisely where they are, of course, we can have few concerns. So for example, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, and that ministry have been headed for the past, since Buhari's administration down to the start of Tinubu's administration, by women. And we know that they've done a good job, and these people had the track record before coming to this position of occupying such positions at the state level, and then now coming down to the ministry, to the federal ministry level. However, for Dr. Nentawe, it's different. So I think much is expected of him, and of course you can learn on the job. It's going to be new terrain for him. He has not been a Minister for Humanitarian Affairs on the plateau, and he hasn't fit into this office before, even in the work he has done before and all of that. So it's going to be different, because now this is one office that needs to come up with something for the Nigerian youth, because this is what administrations come and go have been doing. We can talk about the Goodluck Jonathan, where we saw the UWIN is started concerning a 2-year program where you can apply, you are partially employed by the government, you get stipends while you are searching for a job. And that of the Empower that started and other Buhari's administration, and then it could have continued, but with all the back and forth in that ministry, and then with Better Edu being suspended and nothing much could be said. Now the question is, what will Dr. Nentawe come up with that will keep this ministry relevant? Because Nigerians have been waiting. We're talking about poverty reduction, and we are at the period where we have more numbers of Nigerians going into poverty. So he's in a position that if he doesn't do anything massive, he will not be felt. His impact will not be felt, and that already puts him on an edge. And I hope he knows the magnitude of the work that is expected from him in this office. Well, we have Mukhtar here, and then it's a new ministry. So you don't have a prior template to fall back to. You are expected to canvass the phase of the ministry and then moving forward to it. So I believe that he has so much work to do, because he is a pioneer, he is the beginning, and we know that when the foundation is solid, then it gives room to every other growth there. And I'm looking forward to seeing a balance. I want to see what this ministry will be able to bring, to be able to help. We know the situation in this country concerning livestock grazing, open grazing, ranching, and all of that, all of this chaos in between that it has the potential of restoring peace to certain region and all of that. We want to see how this ministry will navigate and all of that. And Sele, you and I are always about education. So I'm looking forward to seeing whatsoever we do concerning education, and how she will be able to partner with the Minister of Education and see the way forward down to the state levels and all of that. So there's so much expected. I could talk about the Minister of State Housing and Urban Development. We know the problems, for example, in the FCT, precisely concerning those living in shanty houses and all of that. And I know that anytime when we had Wike coming out newly in his office talking about sending these people out, I said, no, we need the FCT, for example, to take a different direction regarding housing. We see that in Lagos, in major cities and all of that. And there's so much that needs to be done concerning housing, because I think over the years what the government of Nigeria have failed to understand, that certain things are basic amenities and facilities, and if you fail to provide these things, you are failing as a government. I know we've been occupied over the years with insecurity, food crisis and the food insecurity and all of that, but there are certain things that the government have left and is like flushed it down the drain. I'm looking forward to seeing some certain things waking up in this administration, and I just hope that these people are up to the task. They are, if they are willing to put in their best on the job.
Of course, I think even that for Bianca, we saw where the Southeast were saying that they actually feel being included right now.
Sure, yeah.
Because for a period of time they feel being excluded from certain decision, nation building, and all of that. And then seeing that we have such a figure as Bianca Ojukwu
Yes.
being there, now we know that they feel being included in the government. And just like you said, we hope that they will all bring in their own share cut of what they can contribute to nation building. I mean, just like you said, if you're new in the job, you can learn it. But then above all, we need you to know that this is not a place for you to relax. This is not a place for you to eat Nigerians' money. These are taxpayers' money. You should realize that you are out there to work and you need to represent. You need to represent above all, because just like I always say, if there is a willpower, you definitely find a way to sort out whatever issue it is that you are facing. So we hope to see that whatever needs to be done should be done eventually. Well, Richard, I guess that's how far we can go on this program this afternoon. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
As well, thank you to our viewers, supporters, and every other person who made this program a success. Till we come again tomorrow, please do have a lovely day ahead.